Starmer has opened the party's local election campaign in England, saying he had hoped for a general election. Speaking in Dudley in the West Midlands, Sir Keir said the country wanted change. Revised official figures show the recession the UK entered at the end of last year was milder than first thought. The Office for National Statistics also said that across the whole of last year, GDP rose by 0.1%. The National Assembly in France has voted overwhelmingly in favour of a bill which forbids workplace discrimination based on an employee's hairstyle, colour, length or texture. It will bar employers from requiring hair to be straightened and for afros, dreadlocks and braids to be covered. The bill also protects blondes and redheads. The former Nottingham Forest and Liverpool player Larry Lloyd has died at the age of 75. He was a key player in the Forest sides that won the European Cup in 1979 and 1980 under Brian Clough. BBC News.
Now on Radio 4, it's The Archers. And Bartleby is cool as a cucumber on camera, unlike Chris.
Cheers for coming, Uncle Chris. I've brought my tools. Oh, great. And my apron. Perfect. Do I look all right, George? Hey? I mean, if I'm going to be on camera... Ain't that what you normally wear at work? Well, I put on fresh jeans and a decent top. You didn't have to. You're just supposed to look like a farrier. Oh, I am a farrier. Right. A very clean one. Not for long, if you want me demonstrating stuff. Let's just keep it simple, shall we? Okay. All you've got to do is explain to camera some of the work you do for Bartleby. How you help look after his hooves and what have you. Right. It's really not a big deal, Uncle Chris. Perhaps not for you. No, it's easy. But I'm just not used to this kind of thing. Oh, you'll be fine. We'll see. Look, I'll handle the introduction, so just pay attention to my presenting style. Key thing is to relax and keep the energy up, yeah? Right. Just be yourself. And look, before we get started, can I just ask you about something? If this is about the bull, I've been barred by Jolene, me and Brad. Your mum did mention it. Yeah, she's livid. I did get an earful from her earlier. Me and all. I was only sticking up for myself. What, to Jolene? Yeah, why not? I mean, I'd watch my step at the best of times, but she's been quite tetchy lately. That ain't my problem. I mean, it's totally unfair. I'm sure it'll all get sorted. Well, I'll be drinking elsewhere till it is. Plenty of other pubs will take my money. Anyway, the cricket team is what I wanted to talk to you about. Why? Well, Harrison's busy trying to get Linda Snell elected club chairperson. She won't take much persuading. Actually, it's been decided by a show of hands at tonight's AGM. It's between her and Robert and Barry Simmons. Who do you reckon then? Well, Barry doesn't stand a chance. It's a two-horse race. And I think members are pretty split. I'll vote for Linda though. Really? Yeah. And Harrison's got his heart set on it. But he also wants to recruit some younger players. I did one-on-one training with our latest recruit last night. And while she and I were doing the circuit, I thought of you. Me? Well, you and Brad. I don't think so, somehow. Oh, come on. Brad said no already. But you could persuade him to change his mind. Why would I? The cricket team's embarrassing. I think you'd be really good, George. Anyone would next to Annie, Tracy and Alistair. Hey, they're both decent players. You see for yourself. First net session is tomorrow in Dorchester. Good luck with that then. Well, why don't you and Brad watch the team practice? Perhaps you feel more interested in joining in. I doubt it. Cricket's for losers. Actually, George, if I do this filming, I think you owe me one.
Is that you done with the conversation then?
I'm getting ready to open the pub, Anna. Yeah, you should be at the tea room.
I'm sorry, Jolene, but I need to talk about this.
I already had Tracy on me about it.
Can you blame us?
The problem ain't with you, though.
They're our sons you've borrowed.
You know why?
They didn't do nothing wrong.
In your opinion.
Brad never paid for any alcohol.
Well, he would have done.
Yeah, but he didn't.
What about George's back chat? I ain't having anyone try and intimidate me in my own pub, Emma.
They was upset, that's all.
Oh, I suppose that gives them the right to behave how they
They
want.
were just defending themselves.
They were out of order.
George ain't like that no more. I swear. He's really grown up, Jolene, and he's got his head screwed on.
I'm sorry, Emma. I just need to fetch the bar towels from the tumble dryer.
Jolene!
What?
Be fair, will you? Just let them back in.
They ain't even been barred a day.
The fact is, they shouldn't have been barred at all.
You weren't there, Emma.
I've heard it all from George.
But you refused to listen to me.
Because you're wrong.
Look, I make the rules. I decide who gets to drink
That's
here.
really unfair.
You realise that I could hear you both from halfway down the
I'm
stairs?
sorry, Kenton. I'm just trying to make Jolene see sense.
She won't drop it.
Because George is a good lad.
Is he now?
Could we perhaps just put this aside and concentrate on getting ready for opening?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Jolene don't realise how upset I am about this.
You're making your feelings perfectly clear.
Look, Kenton,
Oh.
George has already had enough problems this year. With Helen and Hannah at Barrow.
You could say trouble follows him around.
Well, I'll admit it's been a real struggle for me to keep him on track. But he's turned a corner recently. He's working hard, helping me and Ed, and this online channel of his, it's really taken off.
That's great. I'm glad to hear it.
Why don't you cut him some slack, Kent?
You ain't gonna drag Kenton into this.
It's his pub too.
Emma, I imposed the ban and I intend to enforce it. If you got a problem with that, you know where the door is.
Right, I'm going to adjust the phone, then we can both be in shot. And you'll introduce me? Yeah, don't worry, just wait for my cue, because I'll do a bit of banter at the top. Right. Remember, that's all it is, Uncle Chris. A chat with some mates. Imagine you're talking to Harrison down the boot. But without you there. That ain't funny. No, sorry. Right, you ready? Okay. So remember, there'll be a pause after I say hello, Bart, because I need to edit in a snore. Right. And it's recording. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my Grange Farm channel. So, we've sorted Bartleby some new meds and a new diet. As you can see, he's looking better already. Say hello, Bart. Anyway, something else that keeps Bart in good shape is hoof care. And that is done by my uncle, who's a farrier. Say hello, Uncle Chris. Am I saying that to you or the camera? No, talk to them. Right. Right, let's start again. I'll have to edit that. Sorry. Anyway, something else that keeps Bart in good shape is hoof care. And that is done by my uncle, who's a farrier. Hi, good to be here. So, what does a farrier do then? Well, as you said, a farrier specialises in equine hoof care. Equine is? Horses, donkeys, ponies, and mules. That's a mashup between a horse and a donkey. Yeah, right. So, I care for horses' feet. I clean, trim, and shoe their hooves. Except in Bartleby's case? No, because being a senior pony, we've decided to leave Bartleby unshod. But other ponies might benefit from shoes. And you don't mean the latest kit? No, horseshoes. But whether we shoe a senior horse is something we decide on a case-by-case basis. Every horse and pony is different. And so, Uncle Chris, how do we care for Bartleby's hooves then? Well, every 6 to 8 weeks, I'll come up here and just check them. If they're looking overgrown, I'll grab a pair of these, which are hoof cutters. Yeah, they look like basically a giant pair of pliers. I was going to say that. And I'll use them to trim away any excess hoof wool to shape the hoof. More often than not, though, I'll just be using something like this, which is a farrier's grasp, used to file down any rough edges on Bartleby's hooves. Right, and what do... In fact, you could say it's like an equine pedicure. Okay. Sorry, George, just a bit of farrier humour. Is it? Hey, what does it mean if you find a horseshoe? I don't know. What does it mean if you find a horseshoe? Some poor horse is walking around in his socks. In his socks, get it? Anyway, where were we? Farrier's rasp? Yeah. Actually, perhaps we should demonstrate. You don't have to do that. Oh, well, why not while I'm here? I bet you guys would be interested. I'm not sure. Of course they would. Why don't you fetch the phone right close in so you can properly see what I'm doing? Hey? We're going to need some close-ups. Come on, bring it here. Right. So, what I'm going to show you now, a bit closer, George, on me. What I'm going to show you is how we file Bartleby's hooves at just the right angle to make sure there are no sharp edges or chips that could catch on anything out here in the field or inside Bartleby's stable.
What is it, Kenton?
Can we just have a word?
I know what you're going to say.
What's going on, George?
You know what's going on.
I'm just struggling to keep track of your moves.
What do you mean?
Well, yesterday, one minute you're excited about plans for Easter Sunday, the next you're having a word with the
I
customers.
think you'll find George and Brad were having a barney with me.
Yeah, but you could have diffused the situation.
Well, I didn't want to. I wanted them to know that I wouldn't be walked over. This is my pub, my home. You're putting up with it, Kenton.
Look.
We don't need people like that in here.
Like what?
Bullies.
Brad's not a bully.
I will not be intimidated. Not by George or Brad or Tracy and Emma for that matter.
Is this really about them?
Sorry?
Look, what happened a few weeks back was traumatic for all of us. You know how terrible I was feeling.
I do.
Yeah, but thankfully I've been able to get past it.
You're still recovering.
And the more time that passes since... Well, the more I feel life returning to normal. We've got to remember that. It was just a one-off. It's not like we're under any threat.
You reckon?
So, surely it's time to move on, isn't it? Well, after so much, we should focus on the fact that things are pretty much how they were before. You know, we're both back at the Bull, surrounded by customers we know and staff we trust. And you have got this brilliant event planned for Sunday.
Right.
There's really no point in alienating anyone. And I don't mean just George and Brad. Tracy and Emma were fuming.
Oh, they need to teach their kids some manners.
Having said all that, I certainly don't want you to ever feel walked over. So, how about this? If Brad and George apologise, would you be prepared to let it go?
Bit up, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you say?
If you say so, boss.
Hey, that's more like my Jolene.
You going to tell me how you got on then?
Can I have some free cake?
Oh, George.
What?
Tell me about that filming you did this morning.
With Uncle Chris, you mean?
Well, you don't sound very happy. He was that nervous. Did he clam up on camera?
No. Once he got into the swing of it, he was fine. I already uploaded the video.
And is it getting any attention?
Yes.
So what's the problem?
All my followers are talking about is how fit and handsome the farrier is.
Oh, I see.
And nothing about me.
Our Chris is a hit then.
It's not funny, Mum. Me and Bartleby should be the focus.
Yeah, so stick another video up.
First, I'm going to take Chris's down.
Honestly, George.
What a waste of a morning.
Listen, I reckon I can cheer you up.
Free cake?
Better than that. Kenton sent me a text saying Jolene's agreed to let you and Brad back in the Bull.
Really?
Yeah. Only there's one condition.
What?
She wants an apology.
In that case, she can whistle.
George.
Well, tell her it's her that should be apologising to us.
Look, I know Jolene went over the top.
Oh, no kidding.
I want you to swallow your pride, George.
What sort of advice is that?
Well, I've had to.
Well, then you're a loser.
Hey! Less of the lip. Let's just put this to bed, George. That means being the bigger person.
Why should I?
Because you don't need more bad press, George. You're getting on really well at Bridge Farm. I think all the stuff you're doing online with Bartleby is great. It shows people round here you've got some initiative.
Well, I don't care what people think.
Well, I do.
So you apologise.
You don't do this, George. I swear. I'll cancel your phone contract.
You what?
Yeah, I mean it. No apology, no phone.
You can't do that.
Watch me.
Mum, I need my phone. I can't make my videos without
Was
it.
there only one thing to do then? Say sorry to Jolene. And we're back in Ambridge at 7 o'clock tonight when tensions mount at the cricket practice and Robert has an idea. Well, with more drama in a moment, but first a look ahead to Sunday morning on Radio 4, one of the highlights of our Easter weekend with the Archbishop.
Easter Sunday is the greatest day of celebration for Christians in every country on earth, as we remember and rejoice in the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Following a time of reflection on Good Friday, Sunday marks his triumph over death. It offers us hope and the most extraordinary moment of transformation. Please join me, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, for Easter Sunday worship live from Canterbury Cathedral.
And that's at 8:10 on Radio 4 and BBC Sounds.
idea for our drama, and we pay a visit to Breck How, where Richard and Claire Wells are still dealing with their unpredictable sitting tenant, John Hector.
Holding Back the Tide by Nick Warburton, with Paul Ritter, Kate Duchesne and Philip Jackson. Episode 3, Walk On.
Right, Coats and home, I think.
Gosh, John, let's at least savour the moment.
Claire and I took John Hector to the theatre as a birthday treat.
There's always a bottleneck on those stairs. We'll get stuck shuffling for ages if we don't move now. Come on.
That's it,
I said, didn't I? This is a good 10 to 12 minutes later than it need have been.
I dropped my hat under the seat.
Well, you should have left it with the cooks.
I only dropped it because we were hurrying.
I don't know why you wanted a hat in the first place.
I like Richard's hat.
Indoors in a theatre.
What's wrong with that?
It's trying to draw attention. Anyway, it does nothing for you.
At Breckhouse Theatre, you can enjoy the more traditional end-on experience of their studio space, or the intimacy of its celebrated theatre in the round, which is where we've taken John.
By the time we were down those stairs, most of the cast were already in the bar.
Apart from that, how was the evening?
We'd chosen this particular play because it was set in the 17th century, which we thought would appeal to John's interest in history.
It was historically inaccurate. There's no evidence those two ever met. And they certainly wouldn't have spoken like that. We need to talk. They'd never have said that.
Everyone says it now.
Not to me, they don't.
I thought, as a piece of theatre, it was
Poor.
What?
Very poor. It didn't convince.
That encounter in the prison, though, you could feel the tension.
It's overrated, in my view.
The play?
Theatre as a whole. I can't bring myself to respond. Folk pretending to be other folk. I can't see the point.
But it's live. You can feel it's live, and that makes you part of
I'd
it.
rather sit at home reading wisdom.
When you go to the theatre, surely you enter some sort of contract.
I don't.
You become a
Nor
participant.
do I want to.
Ideas encountered in the theatre always seem so much more immediate.
It's made up, Claire. Fabricated.
Do you want to be taken out of yourself sometimes?
Where to?
Well, I don't know, a different world, a world of new possibilities.
No, do you?
As a matter of fact, I do sometimes, yes. A world without bed and breakfast.
Well, where I want to be taken is Vosgarth, so I can prepare myself for tomorrow's workshop on waste disposal and recycling. Life's not all beer and skittles, you know. I now draw your attention to item 15 on the table before you. What do we notice about this?
You can see through it.
Well, yes.
It's clear plastic,
Yes.
so you can judge what you're buying.
Yes, Margaret, but what's wrong with it?
Uh,
Well, look at the label, look at the label.
oh, not currently recycled.
Not currently recycled, meaning what?
It means they would recycle it, but they can't. Not currently, which means not just yet.
I know what the words mean, woman, but what's the subtext?
I have no idea.
Then I'll tell you. It's don't blame us. They are in effect saying, we have wrapped our food in material that due to the failings of others, manufacturers or local government or Harry over the hill, cannot be recycled. Do not blame us. We are in the clear.
So they're not to
Of
blame.
course they are. They're doubly to blame.
But if they're saying they're not
First
to
they
blame,
commit the offence and then they point the finger at others. Not currently recycled. Then why did you choose to wrap your product in it in the first place? Take it back and do better next time.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, to end on a more positive note, I have a small personal announcement to make. I have been recognised as a leading representative of Breckhouse Society.
Oh, it's a feather in his cap, all right, Claire. And very well deserved, in my opinion.
And this is for a magazine?
That's right. One of these life productions for the coastal area. You know, where they show folks sitting on settees with their dogs and flower arrangements.
What's he supposed to write about?
Breck Howe, as he sees it.
Oh, well.
My Breck Howe, they call it.
He'll have plenty to say about that.
And so ends the silent vigil that is breakfast.
Breakfast is nigh on lunch.
I know.
John Hector's been asked to write an article on Breck Howe.
Oh,
For a magazine.
you should have plenty to say about that.
Don't they talk over breakfast, your guests?
Not much. They just sit there chewing in silence.
Why?
It's probably me. I'm not cut out for this.
It's not you. How can it be you?
I think I inhibit them.
Nonsense. You just have to be a bit more relaxed.
Relaxed?
Spark a bit of chat. Talk about the weather, what their plans are. Have they seen the castle?
I've tried chatting. They clam up.
Perhaps it's the way you do it.
Try again tomorrow. Breeze in and say, we saw a fascinating play at the theatre.
Mr. Hector was saying he'd been to see a play.
And if that's met by a wall of silence?
He said it wasn't very good.
Keep trying. Tell them the theatre's looking for walk-ons.
Are they?
Yep. We had a message about it at the town hall.
What's a walk-on?
Extras, background artists. People who go on stage but don't actually say anything.
I can do that.
They make up the crowd.
Oh, I wouldn't mind having a go myself. You don't have to remember anything, do you?
Only where you're supposed to stand.
I may be even capable of that.
Oh, Richard, for goodness sake.
What?
You're so negative.
I'm only saying it might make a change from the daily grind.
Are they actually looking for folk, then? Recruits?
Yes, there's a touring company. Northern Swagger, they call themselves. And they're coming to Breck Howe with a new play called Villagers.
Villagers?
Yes.
Sounds first rate.
About a couple who come into a threatening and sinister community. They're looking for people to come on and stand about in a silent and sinister manner.
Silent and sinister. I might try for that.
I think I might too. Richard,
What?
what about you?
No, not really.
Oh, come on. You just said you wanted to change.
Yes, but, you know, being on stage.
All you have to do is stand still and look sinister.
Could you manage that?
Of course I could.
Just narrow your eyes and turn your mouth down.
I know.
Go on then.
Well, it's sort of... Oh, thank you very much.
No, really, that's brilliant.
Oh, Richard, I'm that impressed. You can turn milk.
You have to come with us now.
Maybe.
We could tell John Hector. Go as afore.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Why not?
John has a way of complicating things. It's probably best if we don't mention it.
You might have a point. We'll just let him get on with his magazine article.
Right. And we won't say a word to him, will we, Claire?
One can watch the sun rise over that silver band of sea to the east and gild the promontory where stands our castle. No wonder Breck Howe folk have always been so doughty in defence of this place. What do you think?
Lovely.
It's just the opening para.
Para?
Para, short for paragraph. Saves having to say the whole word.
Oh,
Usually.
well, I thought it was lovely, like being there in person.
You are there, Margaret. Look up. There's the castle.
You'll be writing it word for word like that, will you?
Yes. Why?
No, nothing.
What's wrong with it?
Well, you say it's a silver sea, and then you say the light gilds the promontory.
Yes.
But gilds suggests gold to me, so the picture's not quite right, is it? silver and gold. It doesn't quite match.
My God, you're a startling woman sometimes.
I am.
Most of the time we can barely get a signal out of you. Then you come out with something like that.
Oh, I wasn't meaning to be rude.
No, you're absolutely right. I shall rewrite my opening para in the light of your note.
Oh, that's nice. And while you're at it, you might change one.
What?
One can watch, you say.
Well, one can.
It might sound better to say you, though.
One is more measured.
Yes, but you is more personal if you're actually speaking. And it sounds nice as a speech, a spoken speech, like in the theatre.
You might be right.
Although, of course, a speech in the theatre would reach people more directly. Oh, maybe not.
No?
I mean, not necessarily in the...
Why?
Because I'm not supposed to say.
Not supposed to say what?
About the theatre.
What about it?
Anything. I'm supposed to steer clear of any mention of it.
Why?
It's what I told myself. Don't mention it, Margaret, in case you accidentally go on to tell Mr. Hector about this scheme.
What scheme?
They've got a scheme going.
Who have?
This theatre company. Only Richard thought it best if you don't know.
Don't know what.
Oh dear.
Margaret?
Doing the accounts. It's so bum-numbingly boring.
Actually, they're not too bad.
And ultimately so disappointing.
Not this time, they're not. We've done better than I thought.
Really?
And,
What?
well, we've got a pension fund about to mature.
Ooh, so a holiday.
Well,
But why not? You need a break, Richard. You know you do.
Ah, there you are.
Hello, John.
I've just heard about this audition business.
oh, have you?
I can't imagine why you didn't mention it to me.
We thought you wouldn't be interested.
I've always been interested in the arts.
But theatre, John. You said it's overrated.
I never said that. And on stage, I mean, the chance to appear on stage.
Only as part of a crowd.
That won't matter if you do it with conviction. Ideas expressed through the medium of the theatre are always so much more immediate. I've always maintained that.
A day or two later, a crowd assembled at the theatre to meet a couple of the people from the Northern Swagger Theatre Company. I was on edge to start with, but by the time I was called, I began to enjoy it. I gave them my sinister look with just a touch of understated threat, and I think they could see what I was trying for. They said they'd be in touch.
I thought I'd do it as a Iago.
We're not supposed to say anything, John.
Oh, I won't. It'll all be in the body language, lass. I'll go on in an outwardly genial manner, then spin round, thus revealing my sinister side.
John Hector!
It's you. Good luck. Good luck.
Right.
Step into the light if you wouldn't mind.
Here.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. Yeah, nicely done.
What?
You're in. Give your details to Charlotte.
Yes, but I didn't do anything.
No need, Mr. Hector.
It really starts when I spin round.
No need. What you just did is exactly what we're looking for.
Oh, Richard, I'm sorry. I was sure they'd pick you.
Never mind. Northern Swagger chose half a dozen people to be their sinister crowd, including Claire and John Hector. Mrs. Cardamon and I failed to make the cut.
You're not too disappointed.
I'll get over it.
It was all a bit random. I thought they could have done it on the toss of a coin.
No, really, I don't mind.
Really?
Really, you go ahead and enjoy it, Claire. I'll be happy to come along and watch.
That's so sweet of you.
You didn't get a chance to talk to Charlotte, I suppose.
Charlotte?
From Northern Swagger, the one taking down everyone's details.
Yes. I gave her phone numbers and things. Why?
I got talking to her, that's all. She told me they're going to be touring in the autumn.
Still touring villages?
No, something new, some A bridge, Shakespeare, and a bit of Ibsen.
Will they bring it here?
No, this is for a tour of Africa.
Africa?
Visiting all sorts of out-of-the-way towns and villages, except that someone's had to pull out, Charlotte said. They can't make the tour. 2 people, in fact. One of the stage managers and her partner, who helped with admin.
So they're replacing them?
Probably not. They thought they'd try to do without. They're short of funds, see?
Why are you telling me this?
Well, I suggested they might look for investors. You know, people to invest.
And?
I said we might consider helping them out.
You'll take a biscuit with this, will you, Margaret?
A biscuit?
A biscuit?
What's all this in aid of?
Oh, it's tea and biscuits. It's not in aid of anything.
You just asked me round for tea.
I have an idea.
Oh, go on.
Well, to be honest, it was your idea.
Mine?
About my new role as an actor. I shall be on stage, you see, and faced with an audience. So it occurred to me...
What?
It's an ideal opportunity.
For what?
Giving them my speech.
Your speech?
Oh, keep up, Margaret, for pity's sake. You said it sounded better as a speech, and you're right.
You mean your para about Breckhow?
Yes.
But it's for a magazine, isn't it?
I've changed my mind about letting the magazine have it.
Why?
Editorial differences. I telephoned the editor and pointed out 1 or 2 ways she might improve our magazine. The woman's a Philistine.
So you're going to do it in the theatre instead?
Well, it seems the obvious solution.
But Mr. Hector, they won't let you. You're part of a silent crowd. You cannot speak.
They won't know I'm going to speak until I start. And by then it'll be too late.
Yes, and they'll chuck you out on your ear.
Not if it goes well. They could incorporate my little intervention into the script.
They won't.
It's a new play. They'll be adding bits all the time.
I don't think they will.
Well, we'll see, won't we? I'm asking you to help me rehearse, to make sure I've got it off pat.
I'm really not sure about
But
it.
this must remain between us, Margaret. You must tell no one,
I won't, I won't.
especially Richard and Claire.
It might, in fact, be a sound investment. I mean, we'd be helping them out, yes, but if the tour went well, there'd be some sort of payback.
And how likely is that?
There's a chance.
How likely?
Not very, to be honest.
In that case...
I said I'd have to talk to you first.
Oh, thank you very much. I really don't understand this, Richard. We get a bit of financial security and 5 minutes later you're throwing it away.
I haven't thrown it away. Nothing's been settled yet.
But an investment, an unconditional investment, that's more or less a gift.
It wouldn't be unconditional.
Oh, well, I'm pleased to hear it.
I said we might invest if they took us with them.
This is how it goes, Margaret. Step forward, out of the lineup, and into the light. Perform a reverse spin, and then begin.
I see.
Of course, I don't yet know where the lineup actually places me on stage. But we have a rehearsal at the theatre tomorrow. I'll find out then.
And a reverse spin is what exactly?
It's the reverse of what I was intending to do for the audition.
Which was what?
I told you. Show them my genial face, then spin round and reveal my sinister side.
So you'd then be speaking with your sinister side on show, would you?
What? No.
Because I'm not sure that's such a good idea.
No, reverse spin. Reverse.
So start sinister, then spin.
And become genial, obviously.
Yes, that makes more sense. You need the spin, do you?
Yes?
Why?
Because it's what actors do, Margaret. I've been watching them.
Have you?
On the box. It's very often how they enter a room. Step in, look round, look back, notice something, look puzzled. You don't just come in. You have to draw attention to yourself.
It's not just remembering the words, then.
Far from it.
So, you'll do all that at the theatre, will you? All that looking round and noticing things?
I shall do the step forward and the spin. I don't want to overcomplicate.
Good idea.
I thought I'd try it now so you can see how it looks.
Yes, all right. Why don't you stand by the sink and step forward from there?
Right. From here, then.
Genial face.
No sinister side. And step forward and spin. You can watch the sun rise up. Oh.
Are you all right, Mr. Hector?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You might try it with a slightly slower spin, do you think?
Charlotte said it would be a few months, a year perhaps, and I thought, well, it's a change from making beds and cleaning bathrooms.
It certainly is.
And you did say we might consider a holiday.
I did.
But you're right. You'd have to be mad, wouldn't you? Travelling around in clapped-out vans on broken roads and very probably in canoes or rafts half the time, miles from help.
Well, exactly.
And then helping out backstage and sorting out their admin.
I hardly know what to say.
No, you're right.
This is so unlike you, Richard.
It's ridiculous.
So romantic. Like running away to the circus. Why not?
Why not?
We can at least find out a bit more.
You really think so?
Where's the harm?
Yes. Right. Of course, we'd have several large hurdles to clear first.
Once more for polish. Maybe this time, forget the spin. Just step forward and speak from the heart.
Yes, right. You can watch the sun rise over that silver band of sea to the east and see it brush the promontory where stands our castle.
Oh, Mr. Hector, they're going to love it.
John, you mean?
Yes.
Because of course he'd be here on his own while we're away.
There's no telling what state Vosgarth will be in when we get back.
Or what state he'd be in.
The trouble is, he's so unpredictable. We'd have to stop